with the elimination of Japan, we are officially going to have a brand new Women's World Cup champion, a nation that hasn't won it yet, and I'm excited for this because the final four have been phenomenal throughout this whole entire tournament. So this is my reflection on what I saw in the quarterfinals, as well as followed by my predictions afterwards. But first, the reflections. Wow, the goalkeeping here continues to impress me a lot. I love the fact that now there have been people working to improve the goalkeepers' way and how they goalkeep, essentially. And it's been phenomenal to watch. And then the game styles has been, I don't know, this World Cup has been amazing so far. So without further ado, let me go through the quarterfinals. So let me put up the notes. Women's World Cup. All right. So Spain versus Netherlands. I said Spain, and I got it right. Honestly, this game felt like a little bit of a letdown. I was expecting a lot more from these two teams, but a 2-1, fair enough. I genuinely thought that it was going to go all the way to penalties at one point. But yeah, I got that one right. Hopefully Spain, who eventually did go through, fixed a couple of things, because otherwise on their semifinal match there. Japan versus Sweden. Wow, this match. This match has got to be the match so far of the World Cup. Both these teams did a phenomenal game. Even Japan going behind, you could see how they fought and crawled all to get those goals back. And unfortunately, it wasn't, the goals didn't come. But I got that one wrong. I said Japan was going to go through, and Sweden ended up winning that one. So congratulations to Sweden. Australia versus France. I said that if Australia beat France, I would take the L. I take the L. They took France all the way to the penalties, and this game was insane. I saw the highlights. I saw much of the gameplay. Let me tell you, these two teams were going hard at it against each other, and I think that was a great game to watch. Honestly, with the elimination of France, I would say, I wouldn't say France is the disappointment of the tournament, but it is more of a shocking value to see France getting eliminated through the penalty rounds, or even having to go all the way to penalties against Australia. But yeah, Australia, the host nation, continuing to use that home advantage, and is now all the way until the semifinals. Lastly, England versus Colombia. This game was also much more closer than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, Colombia literally started winning, and England had to come back. But I said England for that one. England went through. Congratulations to Colombia making it all the way to the quarterfinals. Hopefully this is a step in the right directions for them, and can boost the drive for these players, as well as other players looking at what is possible, what Colombia, the women's national team for Colombia, can do. And I think it's due time for a South American women's team to win the World Cup. And honestly, I think Colombia would probably be the first one to do it. I don't know. That's the way things could be going. But yeah. So Spain, Sweden, Australia, and England are through the next round. My quick predictions: Spain versus Sweden. In my original predictions from the very first, since the group stages, I said Spain and England were going to be the two teams to go all the way to the final. After the quarterfinals, I'm going to switch a predicted team, and I'm actually going to say Sweden is going to beat Spain and make it to the final, sending Spain to the third place match. Sweden has just been on a different level than all the other teams. They've just been on a different level. Spain, from what I've been seeing, they're kind of starting to hit those inconsistency points. So I'm kind of that's really has like changed my perspective on how I think the game is going to go. So my prediction is going to be Sweden for that match. If Spain does beat Sweden, that is a welcomed what's it called, a welcome action that happens. I don't know. But yeah, because it's very hard to tell from these games. I don't know if Spain's going to come in and bring in what they brought against Switzerland, or if they're going to come in and bring in what they did against Japan. So that's kind of why I'm, yeah. But yeah, I'm going to go with Sweden on that one. England versus Australia. I'm sorry, Australia. I am still going to go against you. And I'm going to pick England again. If Australia beats England, I will take the L. And that would be like, to me, like another big surprise. And Australia going to the final would be a dream come true for that organization, the women's national team, the women's football organization, or as they call it in Australia, soccer. That all of that is just like that would be like a dream come true for them. However, again, on paper, I do see England slightly better than Australia, so I'm going to pick England. So based off of those predictions, I'm saying Sweden versus England in the final, and Spain versus Australia for the third place match. We're down to the last four. As of this recording, the first semifinal match is actually going to happen where I'm at. It's going to happen tomorrow, so at 3 a.m. So I'm not gonna watch it. I'm gonna start working again. Woohoo! So yeah, really excited to see how the semifinals go, and then from once we get the actual results, I'll make my final predictions on who I think is going to win the third place and who I think is going to win the final. But honestly, if you were to ask me right now, who do I think from the top four is most capable of winning the Women's World Cup, I say Sweden. As I said, Sweden is on a different level right now. It's on a different level. So, but I'm still going to stick with England as my original team to win the whole thing. But yeah, I don't know. We're gonna see. And I wanted to share a couple of points that I heard. Many of the sports channels, or even on the website that's sharing. Well, as I said, we're going to have a brand new women's World Cup champion and a women's national team that hasn't won the World Cup yet. The only ones that have won it are Germany, Norway, USA, and Japan, all who have been eliminated. This is Australia's first time in the top four of a World Cup, and that includes the men who haven't even gone to the quarterfinals. So this is a big moment for Australia soccer. Australia is the third women's AFC nations to be in the top four, but it is the first time that a nation from the Oceania region makes it into the final four. Geographically speaking, Australia is considered as part of Oceania, meanwhile in the Confederation of the football world, they are currently in the AFC, the Asian region football organization. So I don't know. That's pretty big coming from a nation from, geographically speaking, from Oceania. Australia becomes the second nation to make it to the top four as a host. Apparently, the only other, and this is for the women's World Cup. I haven't looked at the men's World Cup, but for the women's World Cup, this is the second time that a host nation makes it into the top four. The last one being the United States, who hosted the 1999 and the 2003 World Cup that was originally going to be in China. where USA in both those tournaments made it to the top 4. So yeah, congratulations to Australia. For Sweden, this is the 6th time of them being in the top 4, and not having won it yet. I mean, this is a big time. England's 3rd time being in the top 4, and this is Spain's 1st time being in the top 4. So a lot of from that in alone, Sweden has probably the most pressure because they've been in this position more times than all the other 3. So yeah, those are just the points that I wanted to share. That's my reflections on the semifinals, as well as my predictions for how I think the semifinals are going to go. So yeah, my final predictions for the women's world, or my final, my final predictions are gonna happen. Video is probably gonna be released either on Thursday or Friday, most likely on Friday, where I make my predictions for the 3rd place and the final of women's. And then my final video is most likely going to be released on the 21st of August or the 22nd, which is a Monday or a Tuesday. Most likely Tuesday because I have more time open that day. But it's going to be a reflection on the 3rd place match and the final. Just my quick overall and of how I felt this whole tournament went. So yeah, make sure if you are in a area that's watching the World Cup while it's during the daylight, not during my sleeping time, make sure you watch it. It's been a great tournament, better than the last 2 Women's World Cup for sure. So yeah, that's all, and hope you all continue to have a great day, and hopefully a great year. It's been a great year for international football. So